So it is August, and I wanted to begin with this really lovely quote that it kind of speaks to what it is that I'm working with currently. And it's what is freedom? It is the moment by moment experience of not being run by one's own reactive emotions. Ken McLeod said that. And I was recently reminded, once again, through all of the stuff that I listened to, that anger or any emotion that repeats itself, one way to approach it is by looking at the source of it, and another way to approach it is by just letting it go. And while that may seem easier said than done, what an incredible practice to find a particular repetitive series of thought or emotion that we endure. And instead of going down the rabbit hole of the story, just decide, oh no, let's just let it go. And that idea is in relationship with what we'll be working with this month. It is August, and in my curriculum, August is the month of freedom. And freedom, internal freedom, well, what is that? Wouldn't that be part of internal freedom, the ability to just drop the story and be present again? So presence has a lot to do with this month. And also in my COVID reflection this morning is that we're consumers, and our conditioned response is as consumers. And I wonder if that consuming quality that is what largely is what being an American means is also part of why we are so goal-oriented, that we want to get this thing. We want to be able to do this thing. We set our sights on a particular objective, and then we work toward that objective without as much consideration to process. And in our practice, and one reason we value this practice so much is that it is much more, ideally much more about the process. In the early years, when many of us find asana, and I am absolutely one of these people, the postures were like collecting this posture, collecting that posture. I was a consumer of postures. So there's a shift that often happens in the practice where it becomes less about the consuming and more about the being. What does it feel like to be here right now? Can I feel what it feels like to be here right now? So those are the questions that we're looking at today. And is there anything else I want to tell you other than I'm really glad you're here? Let's begin on our back, working a little bit different than we normally do, okay? So lying back, all the way back, almost like we begin in Shavasana. And just feel the back up against the ground, and the legs and the heels resting into the body just for a moment. Let the shoulders release downward. Good, you got out of bed and now you're here. And let's take the arms like cactus, so the back of the arms are down, and walk one foot in at a time, so the knees are up. You might adjust the pelvis just a little bit, and let the legs travel on their own volition to the left and to the right. So your feet are pressing a little bit, but you're just checking in with lateral lines of fascia, connective tissue all the way down the left side and the right, moving at your pace here, and have it be delicious. Yeah, sometimes when we're in a goal orientation, we lose the delicious. And I think one of the giant challenges of the COVID time is so much of what the consumer cannot consume in quite the same way. There's so much that is beyond our control. And that it really does invite us, it's a deep invitation into the process, into the being. Good. Okay, so let's have this be the last one, wherever you are. And then slowly draw the legs back up. Let's bring the knees into the chest, give ourselves a hug. Feeling lower back, making contact with the ground. Wonderful. All right, go ahead, set the legs back down, please. And would you take your right heel to the inner left ankle and then slowly trace a path up the inner leg and then back down. And we want to move slow enough so that we are, of course, linking the breath and the mind and the body. Good. And if you are feeling a little spunky this morning and that this is a little slow, then just notice that and see if you can release some of that extra and just get into the simplicity of this simple movement. Yeah, and slowing it down. This last one will go really, really slow. Yes, good. Just take care of the hip flexors. So let's switch sides. Right leg down and then the left heel begins to trace a path. And slowly back down. Noticing the difference between left and right side as we often do. And we may find that we need to rededicate ourselves to process over product constantly. And let's use this time, this little time on the mat and this bigger time. Expand our ability to be just a little bit. So let's have this be the last one. Go slow. Good. Releasing left leg long. Walking the feet in now. Give yourself a hug. Good. On the way, just turning to one side and slowly find your way up. And let's just come to a seat for a moment. So sitting on the sit bones, come to a comfortable seat. So we'll begin our practice with the Gayatri mantra. If you know it, please join me. So may the light of awareness infuse me. May I wake up, right? All right. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitovarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So release the hands and take your feet out just a little bit so your knees are up. And we'll play this game called Can We Bring the Left Leg Over, so we're internally rotating, and the right leg we're externally rotating, and then to the other side. And for our purposes this morning, it's okay, it's probably necessary, for the sit bone to come off. And we're just checking to see what happens here. Is there one leg that moves a little different than the other? And again, the Question is, how delicious can this become? May feel truly awkward. Can it be delicious within awkward? Or awkward within delicious? That's probably a better way. Okay, a couple more. And these last couple, see if you can keep both sit bones nearly rooted to the ground. How far will the legs go? And just barely, yeah. All right, so now we know. Crossing the ankles, let's come to the front of the mat, but on hands and knees, please. So hands are under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips. Let's take the right leg now out to the side. This is called fire hydrant posture in some circles. And then lower the right knee and take the left leg out to the side. The navel draws in the whole time. And we attempt to be pretty even here. One hand will want to press, right? Lower the left knee. And right leg. And then down. And then left leg down. And if we only go so far as to keep the two hip bones forward, what happens? And can we coordinate this with our breath? Perhaps inhaling, the leg moves out to the side, and exhaling back. Okay, let's just do 2 more, okay? All right, the toes tuck under. And let's draw the hips up and back behind us, walking back and forth here a little bit. Go ahead, just let it, well, we now know the theme is delicious, right? Have it feel really good in the hips. Just maybe a little bit to the left and to the right. And then settle into your downward facing dog. Drawing the outer and inner heels downward. It's okay if they don't come to the ground. Releasing around the top shoulders just slightly, but big extension from your hips to your fingertips. Let's all inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Again. And last one. Inhale here. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, and step forward between the hands. Inhale, let's lengthen. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. We'll do that again. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, releasing. One more. Inhale. Exhaling. Good, now let's push the ground away. Slowly we rise all the way up. Palms come up. They touch perhaps. And then separate your arms so they're parallel with one another. Good, and then chair pose, sitting. But inhale, come back up. Exhale, maybe sit down a little deeper. Notice what happens in your abdominals when you make that move. Let's try it again. Inhale, back up. Exhale, draw the navel back. So we take out the ski jump. Yeah? Inhale, up. Exhale. Squeeze the outer hips in toward each other. Rising. It's a little Groundhog Day. Slowly down. Back up. And down. Pause here. Draw outer hips into midline. Lift the pelvic floor a little bit. And can we be with the heat? Be with the heat. Good. Now inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Inhale, we lengthen the spine. Exhale, palms down, step back to plank pose. Push back through your heels. Take your tail all the way back through the heels. Check that your hands are really under your shoulders. Draw the space between your shoulder blades. Breathe into that space. Feeling the whole body. Inhale. Exhale, knees down. Torso down. Let's make it just a little cobra pose here. Pull the mat. Exhale, release. Again, inhale, lengthening. Opening the chest. Exhale, slowly down. Let's do it 3 more times. So quite buoyant. And into the upper back we go when we make that opening. And 1 more. And we release. Now draw the navel to the spine. And take it back to child's pose. Pausing in child's pose. Feeling into the breath and the body. Like this moment's enough. That's the counter to the consumer conditioning. This moment is enough. And then into downward facing dog we go. So we have a 2-part motion in the dog. We'll begin by bending the right knee and taking the right foot off the ground, and then extending the right leg out to the side and still keeping the weight pretty even between left and right hand. Then slowly the knee comes back to center, and then back out we go. You can make this beautiful by pointing your right toes, just back and forth. Noticing the front of the hip bones. What are they doing? And we don't have to go very far to feel this. Let's have this be the last one. Out to the side, and then right foot down. Building a little stamina. You can always come to child's pose if you need to, but let's try the other side here. Inner knees touch first, then out to the side. I like to inhale, open, exhale, come back. And just watching and appreciating this relatively subtle but quite intense movement. Good, then left foot lands, pause for a moment, come down to child's pose again. Enjoying the breath. Good, then slowly we rise back up to downward facing dog. And let's extend the right leg back behind us so our hips are square. Inhaling, come up onto the ball of the left foot. Exhale, right foot forward. Between the hands, pivot your left heel to the ground. Now let's come up into warrior 1 posture. Finding ground. Finding the ground, the whole foot, especially back foot presses. And we're going to do the same idea where we're repeating a motion. And the idea is in the repetition that we're completely present in the repetition. All right, so if you find yourself falling out, no worries. But that's one reason we're doing it, is process as opposed to product. What's it like to come right into tree pose here, bringing the foot anywhere along the leg except for on the knee joint. And then back to warrior 1. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, tree pose. Notice what your hips do to allow for that motion. Inhale, exhale back. We're looking for being there the whole time in the motion. Yeah, and then we'll do this 2 more times, so 5 times. Can it be smooth throughout? Opening out into warrior one and then back. Inhale, exhale, returning, inhaling. Exhale, hands to the ground, right leg back, either lower through a vinyasa or knees and torso down, or meet in downward dog. Drawing the pelvis up and back. 1 deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, tongue out, eyes up. Good. I hope it was good for you. All right, so let's take the other side. The left leg up and back. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. Notice your arms right now. Are they stick straight? Inhale, exhale. Thigh to rib cage. Foot lands lightly. Right heel pivots. And then we make our way into warrior one. Right, this is a release the destination, enjoy the journey sort of class. Sinking in, noticing the sole of the right foot. And we inhale, exhale. What happens on this side? And then back. So all kinds of flowing movements. Inhale, exhale. Can it be smooth from one place to another, regardless of the places? That's 3. Notice the hips. Remember to keep it off the knee. We have 1 more. And then back down. Inhale, rising up, feeling the feet. Exhale, hands to the ground, left leg back. Take a vinyasa if you'd like. And into downward dog we go. All right, so let's approach this same kind of movement from a different perspective. You might bring one foot forward, the other foot forward. Knees bend, sit down. Draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. Balancing on the sit bones as far forward as you can. Good, it's pretty good here, right? So fascinating. That is ultimately a choice. And sometimes we don't make that choice. We make a different choice, and then we forgot we made that choice. So take the hands back behind the thighs, widen the toes, navel to spine. Let's take our boat pose. Maybe the legs straighten, shoulder blades down, lengthen through your spine, or knees bent or holding the thighs. And the breath repeats itself in a flow, and we're watching the breath. Then cross the ankles, take the hands to the ground, lift the hips up, walk the legs back, either downward dog or a vinyasa. And back we go. Feeling into the whole body. Inhaling, exhale, knees bend, look past the hands, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthening. Grow your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. Palms touch at the top. Exhale, then arms parallel, sit back down. So back to chair pose now. But we're going to take the left toes, just point the left toes so your big toe is on the ground. And then cross your left foot over your right thigh, opening that left leg out. And then the big toe touches again, and then again, crossing. Sinking, and then touching. External rotation of the left leg. Foot is flexed, and then point the toes and touch. And we do this just a few times. Let's do it one more time. And then the left foot lands. Catch that? Okay, so let's try it on the other side. Right toes touch. Lift up. Cross. Open. Foot is flexed. Point the toe. Touch. Cross. What's so great about balance poses is that they require total presence. Opening out, sinking in, touching, touch, open. One more time. Good. And then come back down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms. Pause here. Mountain pose. Good. Feel the front of the body lengthen. The back of the body lengthen. Palms in prayer position. So we'll take this one step further. The knees bend, we come to chair. And then can the left elbow come around the right thigh? If the answer is no, separate your feet, bring your left arm to the inside of the left leg, and then sweep the right arm open. Okay, so you have a choice there. Either cross or inhale, rise up. Exhale, come to the other side. Slice down the middle and then cross. Inhale, rising. Exhale. Now the catch here is that we're attempting to do most of this twist without a lot of pressure from the arms. Can we twist the torso without the pressing of the left elbow around the right thigh or the left arm to the inside? Take a couple more. Yeah? Good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, folding forward out and down. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees and place your sit bones on the ground and come back to holding the legs. Take your feet out in front of you, palms together. We'll take the knees over to the right and the arms to the left. So they're together, and then back to center. And switch. Back to center, switch. You may need to have your feet down for this. Are we building some heat? Yes, we are. Well, I shouldn't speak for you. I am building some heat. Okay, a couple more. And then pause at center. And with the palms at the heart, widen your toes, and you're going to begin to push the legs away from one another until you come to the kayak shape or the rowboat shape, where navel to spine, strong, long, here we are. And then release to the floor and pause. Let the arms sink and feel in. And watch the breath. And notice thought. Notice what thoughts arise and pass. So fascinating how thoughts rise and pass. Some of them we grab onto and they become us, right? And others just rise and pass. Isn't it fascinating? The ones we grab onto, like consumers, what's that? What is that innate patterning of the grabbing on to particular thoughts or emotions? So we do a lot of watching in this practice. So let's bend the knees, take your arms out like cactus once again, and let's take this one step further by crossing the right foot over the left thigh, and then just allow the legs to travel to the right as you gently push the sole of your left foot into the ground a little bit. You might turn your left arm so it's a big internal spiral such that the palm comes to the floor, and then grow the space from your fingertip all the way down into the IT band potentially. And then we come back to center. But we'll repeat that motion on the same side 4 more times. You choose about whether you prefer the inhale or the exhale. Which is we watch the motion, watch the breath, and we watch where the mind takes us. And if the mind takes us anywhere and we see it, and then we return to here. Right foot down, sole down, left ankle crosses, legs to the left, right arm, big internal spiral, lengthen, and then come back. Inhaling and exhaling. Or exhaling and inhaling, depending on the way you like it. We want this space. We want to grow this space for the sake of growing. Good. Maybe one more. And releasing, unwinding. Give yourself a hug, draw the knees in close. And we'll roll forward and back. 3 more times. We have it be a massage for the back. Before we go any further, let's come onto the sit bones, draw the knees together, and then take hold of the back of the thighs, drawing the blades down, and see if today the thighs will come to the rib cage. Okay? And then potentially we can begin to straighten the legs if we can keep the thighs and rib cage together. See where they'll go, and then bend the knees again. Where will they go? Rib cage and thighs together. And then bend. 3 more times. Okay, last one. here. Extend up. You might walk the hands up the calves a little bit. And then cross the ankles, hands to the ground, legs back, either in downward dog or take a vinyasa. Okay, so let's take this a step further. Step by step, step by step. Right leg back. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. Draw the right thigh forward, right heel between the hands, back heel pivot. Slowly we come up. Arms extend up, warrior one. Very interested, we grow our interest in the process. We take the left leg forward. This time we cross it over the right thigh, sit down. Then we rise. We take it back. Aware of the whole motion. Inhale. Exhale. What happens? When we sit back down, maybe we're able to sit down a little more deeply, and we're here for the whole thing. We may discover that there's a point where we dump. We want to see if we can keep the pelvis lifted, especially as we take that left foot back. And let's do one more. And in this last one, palms together, elbows might touch. They might not too. See what they'll do. Sitting a little deeper. Then back up and into warrior one. So fascinating when we're right there and then when we go away. It's like the tide. We inhale, exhale, hands down, right leg back, or downward dog or vinyasa. Have the navel bring you back. Left leg up. Hips are square. Up onto the ball of the right foot. Thigh forward. Foot lands lightly. Back heel pivot. Sinking. Stabilizing first. Getting ourselves all here. Body, breath, mind. Inhale. Exhale. Sitting. What's it like on this side? As the foot hunts for the floor. Coming forward. Maybe we sit a little bit deeper. And then back. Have it be beautiful over there. Now we probably have about one more to go. Opening out, coming forward, enjoying the journey. Oh, I lied. We have one more. Ready? Inhale, exhale, come forward. Sit down. Palms in prayer position. Sit bones back. Elbows touch. Spine is long. And here we are. Then back up. Right leg back, inhaling, exhale, hands down, downward dog, or take the vinyasa. And let's all meet in child's pose. Slide the hands in beneath the shoulders and take your legs out in front of you so that the knees are bent. Might be easier to go this way so you can see. So remember, way back in the beginning of the class, we took the legs out to the side. So let's take the right leg internally, rotate, and take your left fingertips back behind you and bring the right arm up. Inhale, exhale. We'll just cross over the left thigh. And notice the difference between the right sit bone, the whole pelvis shifting or anchoring. And pay attention to your spine. Notice what seems to feel better for you. In fact, you can go back and forth here a little bit. So the consumer approach would be to take it all the way, yeah? But we're interested in deep listening, what seems to provide the most opening and stability and sense of peace inside. And then pause there for a moment, take a few breaths where you like it. And enjoy it. That's enjoyment on demand. We slowly come back. And then over to the other side, sole of the foot and the knee, land. Right fingertips back, left arm up. Inhale, exhale, cross. So the back of the hand is pressing. And what can we learn about this side? Some of us, the experience is quite similar on both left and right side. Others, it's not that way at all. And go where it's sweet. Go where it feels good. Okay, one more time. Now choose anywhere along that chain. Where is there a sense of peacefulness? Like you could dwell here for some time. And pause for 5 breaths. And then slowly come out of that. Draw the soles of the feet together, the knees go wide. Let's go ahead and take the fingertips to the floor, sit bones root as we fold out and then down, keeping the sit bones on the ground. And we go slow enough so that what's so interesting about going slow is pressing the slow motion button is it often amplifies our experience, which is one reason why many of us like to go fast. Because whatever's there, we can really feel whatever's there. Fast keeps us out of feeling. It keeps us on to the next thing. And so let's do here. And doing here means being here. And welcome the breath into new places in the body. And then we slowly rise up. And let's take the left leg long. So the right sole of the right foot is right inside the left leg. And we'll just do a couple down where we trace the heel back and forth like we did when we were lying down. And we may see that we don't go very far at all. We don't want to use the arms. Just want to see what happens on its own. Notice if that feels terribly unfulfilling. Good, good. Now take right leg long and left heel traces. You may find that one leg tends to externally rotate better than the other. That one is doing more of an internal rotation. That's happening when we're walking as well. Okay, then send that one back out. Now here's what we're curious about. Well, we're curious about the whole thing, but bend the knee, externally rotate. Will the foot set on the front of the thigh without using the hands? So let's try the other side. Will the left foot come? The answer may be not only no, but no thank you. And if that's the case, the foot can come back to the inner leg. But we attempt to do this just with our legs. And if you can see my motion, you can see that there's this little thrust that's happening with the left. Let's watch left leg. I'm hoisting to get there, and I'm using a little bit of propulsion to get there, when in fact what I'd really like to do is to just set it there if at all possible. We do that often in the downward dog. When we take the leg forward, we hoist, whereas if we went slowly, it might be a lot more difficult to bring that foot forward. Couple more times. All right. Now we know. Let's cross the ankles, hands to the ground, back to downward dog or through your vinyasa if you wish. And the right leg extends back behind us. Inhale. Exhale, thigh to rib cage, round the upper back. Place the right foot down between the hands. See if you can do it without the hoist. Sole of the foot presses, rise back up to warrior one. So we're adding a little bit of complexity. Now we bring the palms together at the heart. We bring the left leg forward and we cross the ankle over the thigh. We sit down. We've been here. Question now is, tips of elbows touch. Can the elbow, the left elbow, touch the sole of the left foot? Press the palms in, draw navel to spine. Answer may be no, it cannot. Then keep the elbows at knee and foot. Inhale, rise up, sweep left foot back, take the arms up. We'll do that 4 more times. Inhale, exhale, palms at the heart, come forward, sit, elbow to sole, gaze is steady, back up, left leg back. Inhale, exhale. It's smooth. It's also Groundhog Day. Here for the whole motion. I think we have one more in our near future. Sitting and crossing. Back up. Left leg back. Inhale. Exhale, downward dog or vinyasa. Pausing in the dog, feeling the whole body. Drawing pelvis up and back, lengthening the spine. Left leg goes up slowly, come up onto the ball of the right foot. Then thigh to rib cage, slow. Foot lands lightly, back heel pivots. Rising, sinking. Enjoying, breathing. Inhale, exhale, palms in prayer position. back leg. Forward, down we touch, palms already together, right elbow to sole. Left forearm on top of right forearm. Back to touching, arms up, right leg back. Good, chances are good you will fall out at some point. Inhale, exhale, palms in prayer position. Try again, begin again. And coming around. And back up. And right leg back. Just like thought or emotion, we will fall out. We will find ourselves back in the same old story. And then we begin again, coming back to present moment. One more. Cross sink, come around. Inhale, back up. Exhale, touch down. Arms rise. Exhale, downward dog or vinyasa. To child's pose. Settling in. Forehead touches the mat or a surface. Feeling the whole body breathing. Can this moment be enough? So the mind is wired, our conditioned mind is wired, that somehow this moment isn't enough. And that's what keeps the constant, insidious quest for more. Can we settle into this moment and have it be delicious? Slide the hands under the shoulders. Take your legs forward. All right, so arms forward, slowly coming back down. Yeah, okay, let's rest the head down on the ground. Bring the knees in. Yes, we did a lot of work for hips and glutes, didn't we? Let's cross the right foot over the left thigh, interlace your fingers around the shin or the thigh and sink. So something else about delicious is delicious isn't added on. Just like the joy of being isn't an add-on. What we find on the way to delicious, or the joy of being alive, are layers of stuff that's between this moment and that joy or that sense of delicious. So sometimes when we slow down and we really feel, there's stuff there. And this is one reason we're developing the bravery and the courage to meet what's there on the way to this inherent, and that's what's so phenomenal, is that it's this inherent being, utter joy. When we switch sides, sometimes so easy to slip into, sometimes not so much. And that's why we practice. The left elbow might press just a little bit into the inner left thigh. Relax what you can. And the relaxation response helps to support us in releasing the layers of gripping. The incessant grip. And we take the legs all the way up. Let's now see, well, will the right foot cross over the front of the left thigh? And if it doesn't, we can just gently take our hands to our leg. Take your arms to the sides, palms down. Keep your upper body heavy and relaxed. Slowly lower your left leg and then let the right leg get heavy on the way down. Keep your lumbar spine into the floor so we don't have to go very far. Inhale, come back up. So the leg is now vertical. Your left knee could be bent also. And then exhale, slowly lower. And give yourself the extra dessert of the right thigh opening out and getting heavy. Inhale, back up. Exhale, lower. Inhaling. And exhaling, right leg heavy. Good, inhale, rise up. Exhale, right leg long. Externally rotate the left leg, see if the foot will come on front. Inhaling, exhale, down we go, lumbar spine presses. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, only using what we need to use. It's like there's some doing going on and there's some being going on. And we're headed toward more being than doing, efficient doing. And one more. And back up. And take both legs long. Pause here with the legs long. If you're feeling compelled to do a shoulder stand, please do it safely. Otherwise, this is our inversion this morning with the whole back up against the ground and just feeling that stabilization and support. Feeling supported. I think that feeling supported, feeling loved and supported has a lot to do with our capacity to pause and enjoy. And not largely, that's an inside job. So we feel the support of the ground beneath us and the circumstances that surround us. So much potential for learning. Take the knees to the ground. The arms go out to cactus. We let the left legs travel to the left, or both legs, I should say, travel to the left. And we might take the left foot and cross it over the right thigh and turn the head and neck toward the right. Breathing all the way up and down the right side. Inhaling, coming back up, and exhale. Over to the right we go. In the figure four, looking to the left. Tapping into the joy that's inherent in the moment, this moment. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, let's release the legs long. Yes, indeed. We're coming into Shavasana now. Setting the body down. Rooting our awareness. Feeling around the heart area. A softening. And let's all become very curious about now. Where do we find that sense of delicious? The sense of love, the sense of deep support and joy in being. It's in right now. So I do have a poem for you this morning. It's by Pablo Neruda. It goes like this. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. This one time upon the earth, let's not speak any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It would be a delicious moment without hurry, without locomotives. All of us would be together in a sudden uneasiness. The fisherman in the cold sea would do no harm to the whales, and the peasant gathering salt would look at his torn hands. Those who prepare green wars, wars of gas, wars of fire, victories without survivors, would put on clean clothing and would walk alongside their brothers in the shade without doing a thing. What I want shouldn't be confused with final inactivity. Life alone is what matters. I want nothing to do with death. If we weren't unanimous about keeping our lives so much in motion, if we could do nothing for once, perhaps a great silence would interrupt this sadness, this never understanding ourselves and threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth is teaching us when everything seems to be dead and then everything is alive. Now I will count to 12 and you keep quiet and I'll go. So we look ahead at this month of August. For me, it's about the dog days of summer. For some of us, it's about school starting again and what that's going to mean. Whatever it means for you, there's an invitation here, an invitation to be in the stillness, to touch in and be intimate with some of the layers that are in the way sometimes of inhabiting the deliciousness of these successive moments with each other, even if we can't see each other much. So let's draw the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the legs, give ourselves a hug for real. Turning to one side, allowing the quality of our presence to touch the lives of those around us. Less do. More be. Slowly we make our way up to a seat. Feeling a long spine and the support of the ground. touching in. We draw the palms together at the heart. We'll close the practice with one Om. I hope you join me. Let's inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady. May we be present. May we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me this morning. And we have surprises for many of you who are involved with our studio. We're working very hard, and we're entering a new period, you know. It's going to be a fascinating next 6 months. I will be here next week, and come join me through Zoom any day. Well, when do I teach? I teach Tuesday night. Come 5:45. That class is a challenging class, and it's a blast. And then Replenish, which is the opposite of that class, at 7:30. And then I teach again Thursday morning Flow, 9 a.m. So check our site. We've got plenty of beautiful offerings, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.